here we go with another rather short lesson. In this lesson, my goal is to help you distinguish between three look-alike fallacies. These are three mistakes in reasoning that people make, and they look very much alike. It's rather difficult to tell them apart, and so the purpose of this lesson is to help you tell the three apart. And I actually think hopefully after this lesson it'll be very easy for you to tell which is which. So there we go. Okay, so the first one is the fallacious appeal to popularity. The second one is the appeal to common practice, and the third one is the appeal to tradition. Okay? Now let's take each in turn. First, let's talk about the appeal to popularity. We engage in an appeal to popularity when we justify some conclusion or some argument simply because it's widely believed. Okay? You can hear somebody essentially, if you really listen carefully, saying something like the following: well, everybody believes this, so it must be true. You understand that for most issues, or just about every issue, the fact that a majority of people believe or don't believe that won't imply that that belief is true. Let me give you an example. There might have been a period in our time, a period in our history, a period of time in which pretty much everybody believed that the earth was flat. But that, of course, doesn't make the earth flat. Right? The earth being flat is independent of how many people do or don't believe that the earth is flat. So just because the belief might be popular doesn't mean that it's true. And that's the point of this fallacy. Simply or merely because a belief is popular, we cannot conclude that it's true. So the whole everybody knows that idea is a fallacious appeal to authority. This is a bad inference. They are asserting that it's true that Hondas get great gas mileage. They're asserting that that's true. Why? Well, how can we know that that's true? Because everyone knows it. Well, that doesn't make it true. There are facts about the functioning of the engine, how many liters it uses, what kind of injection it uses. Those are facts that are relevant to whether or not it gets great gas mileage. But what does not prove that it gets great gas mileage is that everyone knows that, or that everyone believes that. That's the fallacious appeal to popularity. The next one is the appeal to common practice. In the appeal to common practice, we're justifying a conclusion on the grounds that it's traditional or commonly practiced or done. So in other words, we say, hey, this is what we should do because this is what we have always done. All right? Let's go through an example. This is not a very specific one, but this is the right way. This is the way it's always been done. This is fundamentally the form that these take. This is the right way to make mashed potatoes because this is the way it's always been done in our home. Well, yes, I understand that that's the common practice. That doesn't mean that it's the right way to make mashed potatoes, right? Now, some of you are saying there is no right way to make mashed potatoes, in which case I would ask you to reconsider your making of mashed potatoes. There is a right way, and if you're not doing it, then your mashed potatoes might be a bit lackluster. Actually, I'm kidding. There is no. It would seem to me absurd to say that there is one right way to make mashed potatoes, but there are other issues that people justify using common practice. For example, some will be opposed to gay marriage. Now, that in and of itself is neither here nor there. I don't care if you are or not. But here's a very bad reason for thinking that gay marriage is morally wrong. You can't assert or conclude that gay marriage is morally wrong because it's always been that way. That something has always been that way doesn't mean that that's how it should be. And so you're appealing to how it's always been is not a very good reason for thinking that that's how it should be, or that that's what ought to be the case. If it ought not to be the case that gay marriage is allowed, or if it should be the case that gay marriage is allowed, It has nothing to do with what people previously had thought. The mere fact that they had done it that way or not done it that way doesn't justify your conclusion. Then there is the final one, is the fallacious appeal to tradition, and this is where we justify a conclusion on the grounds that what's being done or believed, notice that this is past tense, has always been done that way or believed that way. Okay, so in this one, we're appealing to the fact that something is a tradition, and let's go with the example here. Traditionally, marriage has been restricted to heterosexual couples, therefore it's right to restrict marriage to heterosexual couples. This is, because it's backward looking, this is an appeal to tradition. So let me try to give you a quick, I'm going to go back here and let me give you a quick rundown of these three look-alike fallacies: popularity, common practice, and tradition. I'm going to give you now a shortcut way to know which is which. Here's the way to tell. Popularity always deals with present tense belief. Present tense belief. This is what we believe, so this must be true. Or this is what they currently believe, so this must be true. That's the appeal to popularity. It always has to do with what people believe or what people think. The appeal to common practice has to do with not what we believe, but what we do. This is about common practice. So we don't currently do this, so that's not the way it should be done. Or we currently do this, so that's how it should be done. This appeals to the reason why is something that's present tense, but it's not a believing, it's a doing. So that's why it's common practice. So appeal to popularity is present tense belief. Appeal to common practice is present tense doing or action or doing, we'll say. Okay? The appeal to tradition is past tense. Tradition is behind us, and it's either a believing or a doing. The appeal to tradition says this is what we have always, looking back, believed, or what we have always, looking back, done. But it's past tense, and it's either believing or doing. So if you're reading something and somebody's appealing to the past, whether a past belief or a past action or that's how it's always been done kind of thing, then they're giving you an argument from tradition. If they're speaking present tense, this is how we do it, to quote the song, or this is what we believe, to quote possibly another song. I don't know if it's a song that has that in it, but this is how we do it. There is a song with that in it. Then you're dealing with common practice and popularity. Again, common practice is what we do. Popularity is what we believe. Just want to be clear about those and how to distinguish them in each case. So, all right. The next one that we want to get to is called the bandwagon effect. This is going to be similar to the appeal to popularity. Let's give an example. You shouldn't eat at Applebee's. No right-thinking person does. Now, this has something like an appeal to what is currently believed, okay? That no one believes, right, that they should eat at Applebee's, so you should not eat at Applebee's. But the bandwagon effect does something additional in that it's playing on our desire to conform, to be a part of the group here, okay? And that's, to jump on the bandwagon. So it's not just a present tense beliefs, but this is sort of peer pressure. Hey, look, you don't want to be one of those non-right thinking people. So this is bandwagon effect. Get on the bandwagon. Come on with the rest of us. Okay? That's bandwagon. All right? Okay.